Don't try to please everyone because the truth is you can't. No matter how much you give, no matter how much you sacrifice, there will always be someone who thinks it's not enough. Someone will always find a reason to criticize, to doubt, to question. And if you spend your whole life chasing their approval, you will lose the most important approval of all your own. Listen, life is not about making everyone happy. Life is about living with purpose, with strength, with fire in your heart. If you try to please everyone, you'll end up pleasing no one, not even yourself. You'll bend, you'll break, and you'll forget who you really are. You weren't put on this earth to be liked by everybody. You were put here to make an impact, to chase your vision, to follow your calling. And that calling will not make sense to everyone. Some will misunderstand it. Some will mock it. Some will even turn against you because of it. And that's fine. That's part of the price of greatness. So stop worrying about the whispers. Stop chasing the claps. Stop trying to fit into boxes built by people who don't even know your worth. The ones who are meant to walk with you will accept you for who you are, not for who you pretend to be. Stand tall, speak your truth, be real, and understand this. Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. You will never have peace trying to win everyone over, but you will always have power when you choose to stand strong in your own authenticity. Don't try to please everyone. Please yourself. Please God. Please the mission that's burning inside your soul. That's the only way you win. That's the only way you live free. You can't please everyone. No matter what you do, no matter how good your intentions are, there will always be someone who disagrees, someone who criticizes, someone who says you should have done it differently. And the sooner you accept that truth, the freer you become. Think about it. If you give your all to one person, another will say you gave too much. If you hold back and protect your energy, someone will say you're selfish. If you work hard and chase success, they'll call you greedy. If you take time to rest, they'll call you lazy. You can't win their game because the game is rigged. It was never designed for you to win. Too many people spend their lives bending over backwards just to be liked, just to avoid conflict, just to keep everyone else comfortable. They shrink their dreams. They silence their voices. They bury their talents, all because they're scared of what people might think. And you know what happens? They end up miserable. They end up empty. They wake up one day and realize they lived their entire life for everyone except themselves. You've got to understand this. You were not born to be universally liked. You were born to be real, to stand for something, to walk your own path. And walking your own path means some people will not understand you. Some will reject you. Some will talk about you when you're not around. And that's okay. That's not your problem. Look at the greatest leaders, inventors, and visionaries this world has ever seen. None of them were loved by everyone. In fact, most of them were hated, criticized, doubted, and even attacked while they were alive. But they didn't let that stop them. They weren't focused on pleasing everyone. They were focused on fulfilling their mission. And because of that, they changed the world. Here's the truth. If everyone likes you, you're not living boldly enough. You're blending in, playing small, watering yourself down. And if you water yourself down for too long, you'll drown in regret. But if you stand tall, if you speak your truth, if you live with authenticity, yes, you will lose some people, but you'll gain something far greater. You'll gain self-respect. You'll gain peace. You'll gain a life that's truly yours. Stop chasing the approval of people who don't even know your heart. Stop letting opinions guide your direction. You can't control what they think, what they say, or how they judge you, but you can control how you respond. And the strongest response is to keep going, to keep building, to keep living on your terms. You can't please everyone, and that's the most liberating truth you'll ever embrace. Because when you stop trying, you finally start living. You free yourself from the chains of expectation. You rise above the noise. You discover what it means to live for something bigger than applause. So remember this, you're not here to be liked. You're here to be real. You're not here to fit in. You're here to stand out. You're not here to please everyone. You're here to become the person you were created to be. And the people who truly matter, they'll love you for exactly that. Chasing approval leads to emptiness. And I want you to really hear that, because too many people spend their whole life chasing claps, likes, and validation from others, only to end up feeling hollow inside. Here's the problem. Approval is never permanent. You could be celebrated today and forgotten tomorrow. You could be praised in one room and criticized in the next. The opinions of people are unstable, fragile, and temporary. If you build your identity on them, your life will always feel shaky, like a house built on sand. You work hard, you sacrifice, you give your best, and for a moment, yes, the applause feels good, but the moment fades. The dopamine wears off, and suddenly, you're back at square one, craving the next round of approval, desperate for someone to notice, to validate, to clap again. That cycle is addictive, but it's also destructive, because the more you chase it, the more you lose yourself. Think about this. If your worth is measured by what others say about you, then what happens when they stop talking? If your happiness depends on how much recognition you get, then what happens when no one notices? You fall apart. You start questioning your value. You start asking, am I enough? And that's the trap. Living your life like a performer on stage, only alive when the audience is clapping. But here's the truth. The people you're trying to impress are often too focused on their own lives to even notice yours. You're chasing approval from people who don't even know the battles you fought, the scars you carry, the weight you hold in your heart. And even if they did, some would still criticize because not everyone has the capacity to understand you. So you've got a choice. Do you want to keep running in circles, chasing a validation that never lasts? Or do you want to step off the stage and live for something deeper? When you stop chasing approval, you start finding fulfillment. You start making choices that align with your values, not with what looks good to others. You start building a life that feels good on the inside, not just one that looks good on the outside. And that's where true peace comes from, knowing that you don't need anyone's permission to be who you are.
Look around, how many people are living fake lives just to be accepted?
How many are drowning in debt because they wanted to impress strangers with cars, clothes, or houses? How many are hiding their true selves behind masks just to avoid rejection? And yet, despite all that pretending, they still feel empty. Why? Because no amount of external approval can fill an internal void. Fulfillment doesn't come from applause. It comes from authenticity, from doing work that matters to you, from living in alignment with your value, from standing tall in your truth, even if it makes some people uncomfortable. So stop chasing claps. Stop performing for people who will forget you tomorrow. Stop running after likes, comments, and recognition that won't even matter a year from now. Instead, chase growth, chase purpose, chase the calling that keeps you up at night. Because at the end of the day, it won't be the approval of others that gives you peace. It'll be knowing that you stay true to yourself, that you live boldly, authentically, unapologetically. Chasing approval leads to emptiness, but chasing purpose leads to freedom. And freedom, my friend, is worth more than 1,000,000 claps. Life is about purpose, not popularity. And the sooner you understand that, the stronger your life becomes. You see, popularity is a trap. It looks good on the surface. It feels good for a moment, but it doesn't last. Crowds are fickle. One day they cheer for you and the next day they forget you. One moment they clap for you and the next they criticize you. If your goal in life is just to be liked, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. But purpose is eternal. Purpose doesn't depend on likes, on applause, on the size of your audience. Purpose is bigger than trends. It's bigger than approval. It's the fire inside you that keeps burning, even when no one else believes in you. Look at history. The people who made the greatest impact were not the most popular during their time. In fact, many of them were hated, mocked, and rejected because their vision was ahead of its time. But they didn't stop. They weren't chasing popularity. They were living out their purpose. And because of that, their legacy still speaks today. The world tells you to be liked, to fit in, to chase followers, fame, and attention. But all of that is fragile. You can be trending today and forgotten tomorrow. That's why you can't waste your life chasing popularity. What's the point of being liked by millions, but empty when you're alone? What's the point of being famous in public, but lost in private? Purpose, on the other hand, grounds you. It gives you direction when the noise is loud. It gives you strength when people doubt you. It keeps you moving forward when no one is watching. Popularity fades, but purpose fuels you for life. When you live for popularity, your decisions are controlled by fear. Fear of being disliked, fear of rejection, fear of criticism. But when you live for purpose, your decisions are driven by vision. The vision to build, to grow, to contribute, to fulfill the reason you were created. That's the difference. One makes you a prisoner to people's opinions. The other makes you free. Here's the harsh truth. You will never please everyone. And if you try, you will lose your identity. But when you stand on purpose, you don't need to be liked. You just need to be aligned. Aligned with your values, aligned with your calling, aligned with the mission God placed inside of you. Think about it. Who remembers the most popular kid from your school? Who remembers the person that everybody wanted to be around just for laughs? Chances are, most of them faded into the background. But the ones who lived with purpose, the ones who chased something real, those are the ones who are still making an impact. Don't waste your life being liked. Live your life being effective. Don't settle for being popular. Strive to be purposeful, because purpose will take you where popularity never can. At the end of your life, it won't matter how many followers you have. It won't matter how many people like your pictures, your posts, or your image. What will matter is the difference you made, the lives you touched, the legacy you left behind. Life is about purpose, not popularity. So stop chasing attention and start chasing alignment. Stop trying to be known and start trying to be effective. Stop living for claps and start living for impact. Because when the noise fades, when the crowd leaves, when the spotlight turns off, only one thing will remain: your purpose. And if you lived it, you won. Trying to fit in makes you forget who you are. And that is one of the most dangerous traps you can fall into in this life. From the time we're young, we're taught to blend in, to play it safe, to avoid standing out. We're told to dress like everyone else, talk like everyone else, think like everyone else. And at first it feels harmless. You think, if I just go with the crowd, life will be easier. If I just act like them, I'll be accepted. But slowly, without even realizing it, you lose your voice. You lose your identity. You lose the very thing that makes you unique. And here's the problem. The world doesn't need another copy. The world doesn't need another version of someone else. The world needs you. Your perspective, your talents, your story, your light. But if you spend your life trying to fit in, that light never shines. You bury it under layers of fear, insecurity, and conformity. Think about it. How many people are living lives that aren't even theirs? Working jobs they hate just because it looks good on paper, wearing masks every day just to be liked, pretending to be something they're not, just so no one calls them different. But deep down, they know something is missing. Deep down, they feel the emptiness of pretending. When you try to fit in, you trade your authenticity for acceptance. You sacrifice your uniqueness for approval. And the price of that trade is heavy. It costs you your peace, your passion, your power. Because no matter how much you try to blend in, there will always be someone who still doesn't accept you. So why pay the price? Why lose yourself just to maybe be tolerated? You were created to stand out. You were created to be different. Every strength, every weakness, every scar, every gift, it all makes you who you are. And when you hide that, the world misses out. Look at the people who made a real difference in this world. None of them fit in. They challenged the system. They broke the mold. They refused to play small. And yes, they were misunderstood. Yes, they were criticized, but they never lost themselves trying to be accepted. And that's exactly why they changed the game. The truth is, fitting in feels safe, but it's an illusion. Because you might feel safe on the outside, but inside, you're dying a little every day. You're suffocating under the weight of being someone you're not. And no amount of outside approval can heal the inside damage that causes. Freedom comes when you stop chasing acceptance and start embracing authenticity. When you decide, I'd rather be real and rejected than fake and accepted. When you stop dimming your light just because it makes others uncomfortable, that's when life starts to feel alive again. You don't need to fit in. You need to align. Align with your truth. Align with your purpose. Align with your purpose. You were always meant to be. Because once you do that, the right people will show up. The ones who love the real you. The ones who see your light and celebrate it instead of trying to dim it. So stop bending yourself just to fit their box. Stop shrinking yourself just to make others feel comfortable. Stop trying to be liked at the cost of being real. Because at the end of the day, it's better to be hated for who you are than loved for who you're not. Trying to fit in makes you forget who you are, but choosing to stand out makes you unforgettable. Greatness always attracts critics. And if you don't understand that truth, you'll waste your energy trying to defend yourself instead of building yourself. See, the moment you step out of the ordinary, the moment you decide to push past average, people start talking. When you aim higher, when you dream bigger, when you move with a fire most people don't have, they notice. And not everyone claps. Some will doubt you. Some will laugh at you. Some will even try to tear you down. Why? Because your greatness exposes their comfort zone. Your hunger reminds them of the risks they never took. Your discipline reminds them of the excuses they still live by. And instead of being inspired, some people choose to criticize. But here's what you need to understand. Criticism is the price of impact. If nobody is talking about you, it probably means you're not doing anything that matters. Average doesn't get noticed. Ordinary doesn't get attacked. But greatness shakes people. Greatness forces people to respond. Look at the lives of every great leader, innovator, and world changer. They were all criticized. Some were laughed at for ideas that seemed impossible. Some were hated for standing against the system. Some were rejected by family, friends, even entire communities. But they didn't let critics stop them. They understood that opposition wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a sign they were on the right path. You got to realize this. Critics don't define you. They reveal themselves. Their words reflect their own fears, their own insecurities, their own limitations. When someone says you can't do it, what they really mean is, I can't see myself doing it. But you're not them. You're not limited by their vision. You're not trapped by their small thinking. Don't let their noise distract you. Because if you stop every time someone criticizes you, you'll never finish what you started. If you pause to explain yourself to everyone who doubts you, you'll waste your life proving instead of producing. And listen, no matter what you do, whether you rise or fall, whether you win or lose, someone will always have something to say. So why waste your peace trying to please people who are never going to support you anyway? Greatness requires a thick skin. You need the strength to keep moving even when they laugh, the courage to keep working even when they doubt, the focus to keep building even when they try to pull you down. Because one day, those same critics will look back and realize you did exactly what they said was impossible. But here's the key. You can't let the hate turn your heart bitter. Don't waste time hating them back. Don't waste energy trying to prove them wrong out of revenge. Do it because it's who you are. Do it because your purpose is bigger than their opinions. Do it because greatness isn't about clapping back. It's about climbing higher. Criticism is not your enemy. Fear of criticism is the day you stop caring about what they say is the day you unlock your full power. The day you realize that critics don't kill dreams, quitting does. So wear their criticism like a badge of honor. If they're talking, it means you're doing something worth talking about. If they're watching, it means you already set yourself apart. Let their words fuel you, not stop you. Because greatness will always attract critics, but it will also attract respect. It will attract opportunities. It will attract legacy. And at the end of the day, the critics will fade, but your impact will remain. Stop chasing validation. Stop living like your worth depends on someone else's approval. Because the moment you start measuring yourself by other people's opinions, you lose control of your own life. Think about it. Every time you post something, do you check how many likes it got? Every time you achieve something, do you wait for people to clap before you feel good about it? Every time you make a decision, do you second guess yourself because you're worried about what they'll think? That's not living, that's slavery. And the chains are made of opinions. Validation is dangerous because it feels good. When someone praises you, it boosts your confidence. When someone notices you, it feels like fuel. But the problem is you get addicted to it. You start needing it. And when it's not there, you feel empty, insecure, and lost. That's why chasing validation will never bring you peace. It only creates a cycle of dependence. Here's the truth. People's opinions change like the wind. One day they support you. The next they doubt you. One moment they cheer for you. The next they criticize you. If your identity depends on that, then you'll rise and fall with their moves. You'll live unstable, and eventually you'll forget who you are without their applause. You gotta understand your worth doesn't come from how many people approve of you. Your worth comes from who you are, from the work you put in, from the purpose God placed inside of you. You don't need 10 compliments to know your value. You don't need 1,000 likes to prove your importance. You were valuable before anyone noticed you. You were chosen before anyone approved of you. Stop chasing validation and start chasing growth. Stop asking, do they like me? And start asking, am I becoming who I was meant to be? Stop trying to look impressive and start trying to make progress, because validation fades, but growth stays. Look at the people who stay stuck in life. They're the ones too worried about being judged. They hold back their ideas because someone might laugh. They stay quiet about their dreams because someone might doubt them. They never take risks because someone might criticize. And at the end of their lives, they realize the harsh truth. The people they were so desperate to impress didn't even matter. When you stop chasing validation, you free yourself. You make decisions based on your values, not on approval. You take risks because they matter to you, not because they'll get you applause. You show up authentically, without worrying about who will clap and who will criticize. That's where real power comes from, living free of the need to be validated. Now listen, this doesn't mean you ignore wise counsel. It doesn't mean you stop learning from feedback, but it does mean you stop tying your self-worth to whether or not people agree with you. Take advice, take lessons, take correction, but don't take it as a definition of who you are. The greatest validation you can ever have is knowing you stayed true to yourself, knowing that you didn't betray your vision just to fit in, knowing that even if no one clapped, you kept building anyway. That's freedom, that's power.
So stop chasing validation. Because the moment you stop needing their approval is the moment you become unstoppable. You don't need their claps to prove you're great. You don't need their words to know your value. You don't need their recognition to live your purpose.
You are enough with or without their approval, with or without their applause, with or without their validation. Real people accept the real you. And that's one of the most freeing truths you'll ever learn in life. See, when you're fake, you attract fake. When you wear a mask, you only draw people who are in love with the mask, not with you. But when you stand in your truth, when you show up as your authentic self, something powerful happens. The wrong people fall away and the right people show up. Too many people live in fear of rejection. They think, if I show them who I really am, they might not like me. If I speak my mind, they might walk away. If I stand for what I believe, I might lose people. And yes, that's true. You will lose some people. But here's the key. The people you lose by being real were never truly yours to begin with. Real relationships, whether friendships, family, or partnerships, are built on truth. They're built on acceptance. They're built on respect for who you are, your core. If someone only likes you when you're pretending, they don't like you. They like the character you created, and living like that is exhausting. It's like being on stage 24/7, performing for an audience that doesn't even care about the real story. But when you stop pretending, when you strip away the mask, when you show up raw, honest, unpolished, that's when the real ones step forward. The ones who see your flaws but still choose you. The ones who know your scars but still stand by you. The ones who don't need you to be perfect. They just need you to be authentic. And those people, they're priceless. They're rare. They're not impressed by what you have. They're inspired by who you are. They don't care about your status. They care about your spirit. They don't demand you to shrink or change. They give you space to grow. That's what real people do. Now listen, this doesn't mean everyone would accept you. In fact, the more authentic you become, the more you'll see people walk away. But that's not loss. That's clarity. That's life showing you who belongs and who doesn't. And you can't step into your future carrying people who only like the fake version of you. You got to understand, not everyone can go where you're going. Not everyone can handle your truth. Not everyone is strong enough to stand beside you when you ride. And that's okay. You don't need everyone. You just need the right ones. Stop chasing the approval of people who don't even care about the real you. Stop exhausting yourself trying to keep masks in place. Stop believing the lie that you have to change to be loved. You don't. You just have to be you. The right people will accept it. The wrong people will reject it. Let them. Because here's the freedom: you don't need to be liked by everyone. You just need to be loved by the ones who matter. And the ones who matter don't need you to be perfect. They just need you to be real. When you realize that, life gets lighter. You stop trying to fit into places you were never meant to fit. You stop begging for acceptance from people who don't value your soul. And you start walking boldly, knowing that the ones who truly belong in your life will never need you to wear a mask. Real people accept the real you. And when you finally believe that, you stop pretending, you stop performing, and you finally start living. Authenticity brings strength. And I'm not talking about the kind of strength that just looks good on the outside. I'm talking about the kind of strength that carries you through storms, the kind of strength that makes you unshakable when the world tries to knock you down. See, when you live authentically, you stop wasting energy pretending. Do you realize how much energy it takes to be fake, to hide your true feelings, to wear a mask, to act like someone you're not? That's why so many people are exhausted. Not because life is too heavy, but because they're carrying an identity that doesn't belong to them. Authenticity frees you from that weight. It allows you to use your energy not on pretending, but on building, not on impressing, but on growing. When you are real with yourself and with others, you walk lighter, you breathe easier, and you move stronger. But let's be real, being authentic isn't always easy, because authenticity means you might stand out. It means you might get criticized. It means you might lose people who don't like the real you. And that's why so many choose the mask. The mask feels safer, but safe doesn't make you strong. Safe makes you stagnant. Safe keeps you small. Strength comes when you decide, I'd rather be real and face rejection than be fake and live a lie. That decision alone builds a foundation in your soul that no opinion, no critic, no storm can shake. Think about the strongest people you know. The ones who walk with confidence, the ones who inspire others, the ones who carry themselves with power. What makes them strong isn't that they're perfect, it's that they're authentic. They don't hide their flaws. They don't apologize for their truth. They don't bend just to be accepted. Their strength comes from standing fully in who they are. And here's the key. Authenticity attracts strength in others too. When you're real, you give other people permission to be real. When you stop pretending, you create space for others to drop their mask. That's why authentic people build authentic connections. And those connections become a source of power. Because when you walk with people who love the real you, you don't have to fight your battles alone. Now, let me warn you, authenticity will cost you something. You might lose friends. You might lose opportunities. You might lose the approval of people who only love the version of you that plays small. But whatever you lose will be nothing compared to what you gain. Because what you gain is strength. What you gain is freedom. What you gain is peace. And that strength is priceless. Because when life hits, and it will, you won't survive by pretending. You won't overcome by faking. You'll endure by being grounded in who you really are. Authenticity roots you deep. It makes you resilient. It gives you the courage to keep going when everything else is against you. So stop hiding. Stop pretending. Stop watering yourself down just to be accepted. Be bold. Be real. Be authentic. Because the world doesn't need another copy. It needs the strength of your originality. Authenticity brings strength. And when you embrace it, you stop living weak. You stop living fake. And you finally start living free. Please yourself, not the crowd. Because no matter what you do, the crowd will always want more. They'll always demand, always expect, always shift the finish line. And if you live your life trying to keep them satisfied, you'll die empty, drained, and unfulfilled. Think about it. You give everything you've got and still someone says it's not enough. You succeed in one area, and the moment you celebrate, someone says, why didn't you do it faster? You play by their rules, but the rules keep changing. That's the danger of living for the crowd. You will never win their game. But when you start living to please yourself, everything changes. Because now you're not running after shifting expectations. You're running after your own standards. You're not measuring yourself by their opinions. You're measuring yourself by your growth. You're not asking, did they approve? You're asking, did I give my best? Did I stay true to my values? Did I honor my vision? That's the real scoreboard. And listen, I'm not talking about selfishness. I'm talking about alignment. Because when you live in alignment with your purpose, your peace, your growth, you naturally become more impactful to others anyway. You can't pour into the world from an empty cup. You can't serve others while abandoning yourself. Pleasing the crowd drains you. Pleasing yourself fuels you. And when you're fueled, you're able to give more than you ever could pretending to be what they want. Here's the truth. The crowd is fickle. They cheer when you rise, but the same people will boo when you stumble. They clap when you succeed, but they whisper when you fail. If your happiness is tied to their response, your life will be a roller coaster of highs and lows you can't control. But when your happiness is tied to your own principles, your own effort, your own authenticity, you stay steady, you stay strong. Ask yourself this, whose life are you living? Yours or the crowd's? Because too many people wake up one day realizing they lived their entire life for everyone else. Parents, friends, coworkers, strangers on the internet, everyone except themselves. And that regret is heavy. Don't let that be your story. Live for yourself. And let me be clear, living for yourself doesn't mean ignoring everyone else. It means leading from a place of authenticity. It means you don't betray your soul to get applause. It means you don't silence your voice just to keep the crowd comfortable. It means you stop asking for permission to be who you already are. The crowd will always have opinion. They'll always talk, but their voices don't pay your bills. Their approval doesn't heal your soul. Their applause doesn't bring you peace at night. At the end of the day, when you lay your head on the pillow, the only question that matters is, did I live true to myself today? So please yourself. Please the mission God placed inside you. Please the vision that keeps you awake at night. Please the voice inside your heart that whispers, this is who I am. This is what I was made for. That's how you live free. That's how you build a life you won't regret. Because here's the truth. Crowds forget, opinions change, applause fades, but the relationship you have with yourself lasts forever. Please yourself, not the crowd. Because in the end, your peace, your authenticity, and your purpose are worth more than a million claps. The ultimate approval is from God and your purpose, not from the crowd, not from your critics, not even from the people closest to you. Because at the end of the day, the one voice that matters most is the voice of the one who created you and the mission he planted inside you. See, too many people live chasing human approval. They want to be liked, they want to be accepted, they want to be validated by everyone around them. But here's the problem. When you make people your source of approval, you give them power over your life. You let their yes lift you up and their no break you down. And that's a dangerous way to live because people are inconsistent. Their opinions shift like the wind. One moment they love you, the next moment they criticize you. One moment they clap for you, the next moment they tear you down. But God is steady. God's approval doesn't shift with the crowd. God doesn't measure you by popularity, by likes, by applause. He measures you by purpose. He measures you by obedience to the calling he placed in your heart. And when you align with that, you step into a freedom no man can take away.
Think about it. Why were you created?
To please everybody. No, you were created with a mission, a vision, a destiny. You weren't born to be a copy. You were born to carry a unique assignment. And that assignment doesn't require the approval of the crowd. It requires the courage to walk in what God has already equipped you for. When you live for his approval, you stop stressing over theirs. When you follow your purpose, you stop chasing every opinion. You stop bending every time someone disagrees. You stop apologizing for being who you are because your work, your strength, your identity, it doesn't come from them. It comes from him. Let me tell you this. When God approves, doors open that no man can close. When God approves, opportunities show up that no critic can block. When God approves, your purpose will carry you further than any applause ever could. That's why living for his approval is the most powerful decision you can make. But here's the part most people miss. When you follow your God-given purpose, you will lose some people. Not everyone will understand. Not everyone will support you. Not everyone will cheer for you. And that's okay, because your purpose isn't a group project. It's a personal calling. It wasn't given to them. It was given to you. And you know what? When you walk in that calling, the right people will come. The ones meant to walk with you, the ones aligned with your vision, the ones who see the greatness God placed inside you, they'll recognize it. You don't have to chase them. They'll be drawn to you because purpose attracts purpose. Authenticity attracts authenticity. So stop asking for permission to be who you already are. Stop waiting for applause before you move. Stop shrinking to fit the expectations of people who don't even know your assignment. The ultimate approval has already been given. God approved you when He created you. Your purpose approved you when it lit a fire in your soul. All that's left is for you to walk in it. Because at the end of your life, it won't be the crowd you answer to. It won't be the critics. It won't even be your friends. It will be God. And the only question will be, did you fulfill the purpose I gave you? Live for that approval. Walk in that purpose. Because when you do, you'll stop living small. You'll stop chasing people, and you'll finally step into the freedom you were created for.